Yo, what's going on, guys? My name's Eli, aka Standy. I'm a professional COD player, and today I'm going to be bringing you guys the best settings on Black Ops 6 and how to find your most optimal settings for Black Ops 6. So let's get right into it. So first, we're going to start with the controller settings. Alright, and this is kind of preference, I'd say. It kind of depends on the controller what you like and what you like to use. But I start with default flipped. So flipped is when you use L1 and R2. L1 and R1 are both flipped, and L2 and R2 are flipped. So you're going to use your equipment and your tacticals with L2, R2, and they're going to shoot and aim down sight with L1 and R1. And then I use default, and then 7.7. This is all preference, whether you want to do 6.6 or 7.7. It's whatever you like. I'll definitely play around and test these settings right here, whether it's 6.6 or 7.7, figure out what fits for you. And this is where I change the bumper swap. These settings are all off, nothing too difficult. Controller vibration is off for me, actually. I'd recommend turning this off if you want to get serious in the games. I feel like having vibration on isn't that impactful, so I'd definitely put controller vibration off. And going into dead zones, this is where things can get a little bit complicated. It's a little bit confusing for some people, but I have both left and right stick min on 3. So this is basically the amount you need to move your stick for it to literally register. And most of the time when you have a new controller, or maybe a worn-in controller, if you have a worn-in controller, it's usually a little bit higher, like around 5 to 10. But when you have newer controllers, usually the dead zone and the stick drift isn't very bad, so I'd recommend keeping these very low. And for the maxes, it's going to be left stick max 75. The reason I do this, so if you look here, whenever you test stick dead zone, when I push my left stick up, you see this L right here? This is the amount of input it's going to take for like my controller to actually activate like I'm sprinting, for example. So when I press up on my left stick, it's going to activate right away and very much faster. So I'd definitely keep this. If you like movement, you want to get better movement, I'd definitely put this on 75. And then right stick max is 99 because your right stick's only for aiming. So I would definitely recommend, if you want to improve your movement, get some better slide cancels, have your sprints activate a little bit earlier, put your left stick max to 75. And then I have left trigger and right trigger on 13. If you don't have any like things added to the back of your controller, you can either put these to 0 or just keep them as they are. And then going on to aiming settings. Sensitivity multiplier, I don't change any of these. I don't really know the need to change these. I don't think anyone should change those. These are all pretty standard. You want your aim assist on, motion sensor behavior. So unless you're aiming like this with your controller, keep this off. Target aim assist on, and then an aiming advanced setting. So this is actually important because when you first get the game, this setting is usually on gradual, but in the recent games, a lot of the settings were on instant. So I use instant. Some people use gradual. It's going to come down to your own preference, but I would recommend instant if you want to play like me. This on assist, and then aim response curve type, I'd recommend dynamic. Dynamic, I've tried for years now. I've tried linear, I've tried standard, and dynamic is definitely the sweet spot when it comes down to your aim response curve type. It's going to be a little bit more snappier, a little bit more quicker. So if you're like a fast-paced player, you want to improve your aim, dynamic is 100% going to help you. And then I have my aim response curve slope on 1. So that's a very important setting, so you guys should definitely have that on. And then the rest of these settings are here. I'm going to go down to movement. First, we have sprint assist. 100% turn this on. Number 1, if you want to use omni movement, you want to have cracked movement in Black Ops 6, I would 1000% turn this on. This is very important because the second you start basically like moving, it's like assist. It's like omni movement assistance. It's kind of hard to explain, but I'd definitely put sprint assist close to 0 as possible. So basically, the second you press up on your stick, or left, right, however you want to move for omni movement, it's going to activate right away. It's going to activate right away, and you're going to have sprint assist sideways on and on. So if you want me to explain this a little bit, I'm going to go into the range here. So the second I move left, right, like this, and you want to slide sideways, or slide to the right, or slide forward, or slide backwards, having that on 2 or close to 0 is going to activate it right away. If it's too fast for you, you can move it higher. But if you want to be able to have really fast and cracked movement, definitely have sprint assist on so you can hit like side slides like this with like the least amount of delay possible. So that's a very important setting. And then going back, mantle assist. If you're newer to the game, I'd maybe keep this on, but I've been playing for years. I don't like when I auto mantle accidentally on things. I hate it. I hate when I auto mantle on stuff I don't mean to. It's very annoying for me. So I have this off. Crouch assist I have off. I don't really think it's needed or that important. And then corner slice is basically when you're aiming around a corner, you're gonna aim sideways, right? You're gonna aim sideways, left, right. When you first get on the game, this is gonna be on, but I turn it off because it's basically all your perception. When the other person sees you, if this makes sense for you guys, when the other person sees you, you're not gonna be like have your gun peeking out sideways to the wall. You're just gonna be standing right in the open. But on your screen, visually, it looks like your side peeking the wall. So I have it off because I don't really see the advantage to having it on. So, and then going on to movement behaviors, I would 100% recommend hybrid. So basically hybrid is just going to be the best way to utilize all the movements when it comes to diving, sliding, the fastest way possible. And the way to learn this is going to the range. So I have tapped, it's basically tap to slide. So if I go right, tap my slide button, tap my slide button. But the second I hold my left stick down, like I'm pushing my left stick down, dive, dive, dive. So if you want to get really good movement and improve your movement and get like have some fluidity on the map, it takes a little bit of time to get used to if you haven't played on it before. But if you're about getting better at the game, I would definitely use this setting 100%. It's just about finding the balance of when to hold your left stick down so you can actually hit those dives. Like this. But there you see, if I'm not holding my left stick down, I just hit slides. So it can be a little confusing at first, but that's what I'd have on. I know some people don't like it, and I think other people run slide only. If you don't like diving and you just want to slide, I think other people put on slide only, so that's what I'd recommend. Sprint restore off, slide maintain sprint off, free fall, all these settings I don't really look too much into, but movement advanced settings, this is important. It's kind of like the aiming advanced settings. I have auto move forward off, auto door peek off, so I can do it manually by myself. Grounded mantle off, so it won't automatically mantle for you around corners and stuff. Tactical sprint activation. This one, I know some people like to run single tap sprint, double tap, single tap run. I like double tap because it's what the players in the CDL use. And single tap sprint and single tap run, if you have issues using your left stick and you get in a lot of pain or it hurts sometimes after playing for a while, I would definitely recommend running one of these. But if you want to use movement to the best of its ability and utilize everything, I use double tap. And sprinting door bash on. Vehicle advanced settings. I don't really use these settings too much. I don't play too much Warzone. Sometimes I do, but these I'm not really too worried about. Going on to combat. These are all pretty basic. I don't really think I've changed anything here. These should be the default settings you have on. Combat settings, these are pretty simple, I'd say. If you want, you can change weapon mount activation off. I don't really like weapon mounting. I don't really do it. I think if you're a public match player, you can have it on. But if you want to be a competitive player, get cracked, use good movement, I'd definitely have this off. Then going on to graphics settings. I use full screen borderless. I have this on, but I know you can use full screen exclusive, so you can just keep this at whatever you want. I just use borderless so I can tab in and out. Put your refresh rate to the highest you can on your monitor. These are all like designated to your own PC or what you use on your PC. Brightness, I have it on 55. I like my game a little bit more brighter, but usually I'd keep it near like 50 to 55 is usually the sweet spot. It kind of depends on your monitor and what you have, but I use mine on 55. NVIDIA low reflex latency, I use on. Custom, I definitely turn these VSync off. Custom frame rate, I have it on unlimited. My PC can withhold that. If you have a monitor that maybe goes to like 144 Hz, maybe you could change it to like 200 or something. I have this on maximal, off, 10 minutes. 0, and then high dynamic range automatic. Quick water break. Now this is where it can get a little bit complicated, but render resolution, you always want to have this on 100, dynamic resolution off. If your PC supports fidelity cast, I would 100% have this on. I've tried all the settings, everything you can have, and fidelity cast was definitely the best. And I'd turn all these up to 100. So let me go back. Fidelity cast strength you want at 100 if your PC supports it. If your PC does not support it, I think I'd probably recommend either off or NVIDIA DLSS. VRAM skill target 85. Variable rate shading, I have this on. And then these are, I would recommend all of these lower off. But texture resolution, I know some people like it to be normal if you want your textures to be a little bit more like sharpened and more cleaner. I know some people have it on normal, but a lot of this eats up a lot of your PC and a lot of your like memory and usage of your CPU and GPU. But I would have this on low, depth of field off. I do not like depth of field. It kind of makes the rest of your screen blurry when you're aiming down sights. Detail quality low, particle resolution very low. Off, low, minimal. This you definitely want minimal and you want to put it the lowest possible, so 16. On-demand texture streaming can really kind of mess up your PC if you have it on like optimize or different settings. And then low, off, low, off, low, off. And going into view, make sure this is definitely off. Motion reduction preset. This is very important. FOV. Most people play on somewhere between 95 to 120, I'd say. A lot of Warzone people play on 120. A lot of competitive players play between like 95 to 105. So this is just going to come down to preference. Go in the game, see what you like, test what you like, and go up and down and kind of find your sweet spot. And then I would definitely put on affected for field of view, because affected is just way better. Independent, your screen's going to zoom in a lot when you aim down sights, but I don't really think it's that helpful. Weapon field of view wide. It's going to kind of make your gun look a little bit smaller, and I just think it looks cooler. It doesn't really change anything, but you can test these out, see which one you like, but wide is my favorite. You definitely want camera settings. You definitely want world motion blur off, weapon motion blur off, camera movement. Both of these camera movements at 50%. This is going to reduce your screen shake and like the blurry screen that you see when you're playing. That can get very annoying. You can kind of see on like the right side of your screen when you're moving around, this blur, it can kind of cause some visual effects, and it's kind of hard to see sometimes when you have it on. So I'd 100% turn this off. So these are all my graphic settings benchmark. And audio, these are just all preference, whatever you like. These settings you can figure out. It's kind of based on your setup. I use Astro, so I have Pro Voice on. For audio mix, I know recently a lot of people have been running Sucker Punch. So it's basically, it's like you can hear footsteps a little farther, and the audio you hear audio farther away, but in your headset it sounds closer, so it's kind of easier to hear stuff. So I've been testing Sucker Punch right now. I think it's probably the best one to use for right now. So for audio, definitely Sucker Punch. And these don't really matter that much. I think these are all default settings that you can have off. Voice chat. Either just all, if you want to talk in game chat, proximity chat, all up to you. You got your own settings. And going on the interface, these are all default settings. You don't really need to change any of those. For telemetry, it's basically, I have on my FPS counter just so I know if I ever drop FPS. I have my server latency on so I can see my ping. If I ever know I'm in a really bad lobby, like I'm on 80, 100 ping, I'm lagging, I'll know, and packet loss on. Because if you're getting packet loss on, you're probably not going to be playing the game you should be playing. So it's definitely not good if you have packet loss. Going down, you have all this. You go to readability. Subtitles, default, all these default. Color customization. This is preference if you want to try out some of these other ones. I just use default. And for my color filter, I use 2, because I just think it looks the best. It's a little bit more brighter. The colors pop a little bit more, so I like filter 2. And then color filter target, I use interface. I know some people like to use both for world and interface, but sometimes when you use both, your game could be really vibrant. So if you like your game to be really vibrant, you could put on both. I have the color world intensity 75, interface intensity on 100. And going down to gameplay HUD, the last setting, finally. You're gonna have your HUD preset. I know some people like to change these. Magnified has been a big one people have been talking about recently, so you can give this one a test. It's basically your minimap, your screen, your HUD, everything's a little bit more zoomed in. The map's the same size. You're getting the same amount of visual on the map that you can see, but it's just more magnified. It's closer to your screen, so if you want to look top left on your minimap, you want to look quickly. I know some people are on magnified. Alright, going to visuals, I'll definitely put minimap shape on square. I don't know why that reset. Minimap shape definitely on square. You can see more. You visually see more. It's 100% the better one, so I would 1000% put this shit on right now. And then these, scale 100. These I wouldn't really change. And then I'm gonna go down here. Crosshair, I use static. This is kind of preference. I use static with a center dot. So it's basically gonna look like basically the one on the far right. So I just use a little dot on my screen for centering. I know some people like to have their crosshairs on, but I would definitely either use one of these. You can test these out, see whichever one you like the best. It's kind of preference at the end of the day. These are all my dot settings. I use default size. I have crosshair dot on, crosshair spread on, crosshair opacity 100, and nothing else. Don't give you guys any of my personal information. I'm not trying to get hacked today. Got a lot of blocked players there though. If you guys are trying to get freaking cracked in COD and you want to play like the pros, have some of the best settings. I know when you get a new game, Call of Duty has a lot of settings, a lot of stuff to go through, and it can get very tedious, be very annoying. So if you want some settings, a little video, this is a little walkthrough, go through everything, figure out what you like, but there's definitely some settings you should 100% put on. But hey, I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll be back with another video soon, and peace!